Hi, Ty. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, I'm very well.
Yeah,
How's your day going?
yeah, not bad. Yeah, just woke up not that long ago. I know it's different hours over there, but yeah, just having a good morning. Excited to be here as well.
Nice, nice. I'm excited to have you. We've always talked about this on a personal level, talked about this, putting ourselves as friends. And today, finally, we would be sharing this with the world, and then you will be bringing everybody into your world of channel partnerships, and then giving us examples of how you've been able to successfully build revenue for companies. I'm super excited about this session, especially because this is not something that is very common here. We do it, but then it's not as huge as it is in the US at the moment. And so
Yeah,
I'm super excited about this. Businesses would get lessons, even individuals, so that they can actually get ideas from this thing.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, hopefully it spurs like just a lot of ideas and just ways that that everyone can really take a part of this. I mean, like really globally. So yeah, I'm super excited and definitely open to questions as well. I have a slideshow deck that I'm going to try to load up here too. So let me try to do that.
No problem. So we're just going to hang tight and wait for a bit for everybody to join in. So we have this culture in our community where we welcome everybody as they join in.
Oh, cool.
Apologies. We're supposed to kick off at 9 p.m. sharp, 7 p.m. sharp at end. We're just going to wait for additional like 3 minutes for everybody to join in and then we'll get
Oh, yeah.
started.
Cool. Yeah, no worries at all.
Hi, Praise. How you doing? How did your day go? Hi, Koi. How did your day go?
Yeah, my day was good. Thank
Nice.
God.
Work from home?
Yeah. As always.
Nice. Lucky you. Hi, Dara. How you doing? How did your day go?
Hi, Titi. I'm good. Hi, Ty. Nice to have you here tonight. It's evening here. I don't know what time it is over there. I think you're about
Yeah,
5 hours ahead.
yeah, it's morning over here. We're about 9 hours behind.
Oh, 9 hours behind. Nice to have you here. Hi, Titi. How did your day go as well?
Fine, fine. Went well, the usual.
Nice.
Yeah. Hi, Raphael. How you doing? It's nice to have you on the call. Hi, Ayomide. How you doing? So we're gonna kick off in 2 minutes. Everyone else can as we go. Hi, Praise. How did your day go?
Hi everyone. It was okay. Thank you
Nice,
very much. I was just
nice.
hi Ty. Nice having you here.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So we'll kick off in 3 minutes, and it's gonna be all you. So this meeting is recorded, and then the recording is usually shared in the community for people to go over. But sometimes you don't pick everything during the session, so you want to go over, rewind, listen again, take notes, and have more questions. So so we know.
Sure.
Hi, nice. I joined Thanksgiving as well, but I joined online. It's nice to have you here. It's nice having
Yeah,
you
thank you.
here.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Raphael. Yeah, and rumor has it, TT might be doing some stuff with some US groups pretty soon, so we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. Thanks for the shout out time. Yeah, maybe soon. Okay, so 1 minute to go and we'll kick off.
Oh, and for the slides, so yeah, I'm basically I have like literally nothing on my calendar today, so I can go for like 45 minutes and then do 15 minutes of questions. I could do 60 minutes and do 15 minutes of questions. So you let me know what works. I'm open to anything.
Yeah, so it's your show, so you're gonna call the shot. And then also the community, the listeners, the community members would also, determine how this would go, because there are certain sessions that would drag out because there's so many questions, So it's between all of you now.
Okay.
So yeah, 5 minutes past time, and we're going to kick off now. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Um, those in the US, like Rafael, and everyone of us here in Nigeria. So today our speaker is Tyrell Smith. So Ty has over 12 years of experience in tech sales. He kicked off his career in like 2010 at Comcast, and then he's moved to Cox, right, to do different kind of sales for them. And today he runs his own business, right? Registered in the US, doing all forms of sales partnerships with different companies, helping these companies to drive revenues, and also, teaching people how these things work. Because most of the time when we focus on partnerships, we focus on marketing partnerships, we focus on product partnerships, but we don't really shine the light so much on channel partnerships. People do it, it's just not announced, right? People do it a lot. The telcos, they take advantage of this. And today, Ty is going to be walking us through how he's been doing this for years, and then teach us from the standpoint of a business how channel partnerships can help. So you as a salesperson, when you see that bringing one by one leads isn't really working, and then you see amazing opportunities that you can bring into the company through which you can get, bulk sales, is something that you can take back to your company. And as an individual, this is also an opportunity to see ways through which you can earn more, sales as a service, sort of. So Ty, over to you. Let me know if you need anything. If you And then you can share your screen right now. So if you need anything, I'm going to be here in the comments.
Okay, cool. All right, perfect. Yeah, let me all right, looks like I am sharing and try to go into slideshow mode, see if that works. All right, perfect. And let's see if I could change the slides. All right, everything's working. Everyone can see the screen? All right, perfect. Got some thumbs up. So yeah, thank you so much, everybody. And I am so appreciative of being here. So thank you, TT. Thank you, Dara. I am just excited just to talk about really just channel partnerships. We're looking at it from really like an international lens of what type of channel partnerships are accessible to really almost anybody in the world, and how to really take part in them. What are the opportunities that exist? And then also, towards the end, I'm also going to talk about some of the corporate careers that exist in the channel partnerships world, because that is another career path that can be explored as well. If you don't want to just be a partner, you can also work in a partnership style of industry. So I'm going to kind of first just talk about just a little bit of my background, but then I'm going to go straight into just some definitions of channel partnerships, and we're going to get into some compensation examples of like what the compensation can actually be in this realm. And then we're going to go into like the how and the how to and all that. So starting off first, so get into me. My name is Ty. I live in Las Vegas, Nevada. So I actually live like on the Las Vegas Strip. So I see all this like water and lights and craziness and people doing weird stuff all the time. So I don't know why I'm here, but happy to be here. And I been in telecommunications for a very long time. I started just doing like retail sales, and then I was doing call center based sales, really selling like internet and TV services and phone services. So generally things that, almost everybody, needs. Internet is the main thing, obviously, that we all need. And then I also did cellular services, so cell phones. And after that, I got into more of a B2B environment where I started doing management, and I started to manage the partnerships of the company that I was at. So basically, I had a channel manager role, which is the channel partnerships role. So I was really managing the relationships with different resellers. So people that had the license to refer our internet services to a business or to a hotel or to a casino or to a restaurant. And I did that for about 5 years. I won a couple awards when I was there. One was Channel Manager of the Year, which is an award that's given out yearly from all companies. So, you're up against people from Microsoft and Cisco and like all these other very, very large companies. And then I left the industry as a channel manager in 2024 because I wanted to start my own partnerships company. One, because I wanted to basically build an entity that can, grow, build equity, and then hopefully eventually sell it, but also hopefully employ people as well. And I also want to do more community work. And it's easier to do community work when you're an entrepreneur versus when you're in a corporate environment. And I know many of you probably feel the same way when it comes to that. So going into now what we're talking about here. So I want to first talk about just this concept of an agent, because to understand channel partnerships and a partnership model, you have to understand first what an agent is. So I want to break it down to like a very, very simple aspect. So I know a lot of people here are familiar with real estate agents. So these are people that basically you find someone that wants to buy a house, you find someone that wants to sell a house, and you come in between and you bring those two together. You bring a seller with a buyer. And then from there, once that house is sold, you're getting a transaction, a percentage of that house sale, whether it's 3% or 6% or whichever. Same goes when we're talking about insurance. A lot of you are familiar with insurance agents, where you have insurance companies that are trying to sell insurance. You have businesses that are trying to purchase insurance. The insurance agent comes in between and basically helps the business figure out which insurance company to go with, and they kind of facilitate that deal. So that is obviously an insurance agent. But there is another type of agency that isn't talked about that much that I do want to highlight today, and that is the concept of this technology agent. So this is someone that's really coming in between a business that needs to purchase technology for their technology stack. So whether that is your internet, your cloud services, your cybersecurity, your phone, et cetera, and then various companies that want to sell those services, whether those are Microsoft or AWS, or whether it's Cisco, whether it's Zoom. These are all companies that want to sell to businesses. So a technology agent is really somebody that comes in between and facilitates that deal and basically brings a business to a company that's selling technology. And then when the transaction happens, when the purchase happens, that technology agent is getting a percentage of that deal. And typically the percentage is not one time, it's every single month. Every time that business pays their Microsoft cloud bill, or they pay their internet bill, or they pay their phone bill, that person that facilitated it is getting paid every single month. But that is really the concept of what an agent is in the channel partnerships world. So, and if you look by the definition here, when you look it up, it's really someone that comes between two parties that are making a transaction. So going into now becoming a technology agent. So most technology companies globally, not we're talking in all different continents, have some type of channel sales partner program. Now, some are very open and available to find and available on their website, and some really aren't. Some, are kind of hidden within these tech companies, but almost every major tech company you can think of has some type of partner program, from the largest tech companies in the world of, Microsoft and Google Cloud and Amazon AWS to some of the more local and regional companies, such as companies, whether it's like Airtel or companies like MTN. There are various partner programs that you can actually get involved with. And essentially, to become a technology agent, you're really just signing up for a channel partner program, and that will allow you to get compensated for selling, referring, or in some cases, reselling the services. So when we get into like this definition, because I'm going to use channel sales a lot, I want to kind of like break down that definition. So in a channel sales world, channel sales is basically just a business strategy. So it's when a business says, hey, we have our sales team, and our sales team is out there, they're selling, they're prospecting, but in the entire market that we want to sell to, for some reason our sales teams can only get to these customers, but these businesses, for some reason, our sales team just can't seem to penetrate. We have tons of customers in the medical field. We have tons of customers that are in hospitality, but for some reason, when it comes to maybe retail stores, our salespeople just aren't penetrating that. So channel sales is when you basically say, hey, maybe there is a third-party person that is well connected in the retail world, or maybe they're well connected in government or in medical or in whichever vertical. And maybe we can just tap that person on the shoulder and say, hey, if you can go and make connections for us, then we will essentially help you with getting compensated for making those connections or referrals to us. So that's really what a channel sales strategy is. It's utilizing third-party agents, partners, vendors, advisors to sell your products and to get to customers that you wouldn't normally reach. So I want to break down kind of the definition between like affiliate partnerships and channel partnerships, because this often kind of comes with confusion, because you might say, hey, Ty, this sounds a lot like affiliate marketing. Like, what's the difference? So affiliate marketing is very, very similar to channel partnerships, except that affiliate partnerships are very much capturing random customers. So that's like when you have a link and there's like a portal and your customer finds your content somewhere and they click on your link and then they go through the buying process and they go and order that piece of software, or they go and purchase that item themselves through a portal or a link that you posted randomly. When you post up affiliate content, you have no idea who's coming to you, so it's just completely random. Now, channel partnerships is very, very targeted. A channel partnership strategy is basically where you are targeting specific customers that the company that you're working with hasn't really captured yet, and you're going after them directly and you're bringing them to the sales teams of that particular company that you're partnered with. So in that example, if let's say I am a partner of Microsoft and Microsoft is like, hey, we do not have a lot of the soccer teams in England that are using our services. They're not using Microsoft email, they're not using our Microsoft platform. For some reason, they're all mostly using Google. But if you had a relationship in that world, then you could become a Microsoft partner, and you will now target your relationships in that particular field and go and try to facilitate demonstrations and really just agreements for them to come and meet the Microsoft sales team. The Microsoft sales team will help facilitate and do the sales, but you're just coming in between and bridging those connections and then getting paid when those deals happen. So that's really the difference between affiliate partnerships and channel partnerships. Similar, but one is very random and one is more B2C. The other one is very, very targeted and it's more B2B. So when we're talking about channel partnerships, and we're talking about the ways to get a channel partnership, there's two ways to become a channel partner. You can either sign up directly with a major company and negotiate a partner agreement, or there is the other option where you can sign up with a distributor, which is almost like a large broker that can get you access to multiple channel partner agreements. So the pros and cons to some of this is, when we're looking at direct partnerships, how do I become a partner of, let's say, we're going to say Google, for example, or we're going to say, how do I become a direct partner of Zoom, for example? It might be very difficult for someone to basically go and find, the Zoom video headquarters, over in California in the USA, and find the right person and say, hey, I want to get a channel partnership with you because I have connections, have businesses that might want to use your products and services. It's possible to do that, but the amount of effort that it will take to find the right person to get the conversations, and then once you are going down that path, there's going to be things on their side that they're going to want, because they themselves have specific requirements when it comes to organizations that they pay directly to. So there's going to be things that they might require of your business, things that they might require you to show, or certain revenue targets that you have to hit. So direct partnerships aren't really very common when it comes to very, very large companies, especially tech companies. How to get around that is distributor partnerships. So distributor partnerships is basically where you're working with like a technology services distributor. So these are very, very, very massive companies. And when you sign up with them, they have agreements with all of these various tech companies, and it's usually tech companies globally. So if you want to sell internet in Canada, they're partnered with Rogers Internet in Canada. If you want to sell internet in like England, they're partnered up with Vodafone. If you want to sell internet in Nigeria or India, they're partnered up with Airtel. So these are very like massive global companies, and you sign up with them, and then from there you have access to over 300 plus various different, up to 300 plus various partnerships that you immediately basically get enrolled into. So it's almost like being enrolled in the referral program of hundreds of companies simultaneously. So that is really like the gateway in, and there's usually no barrier to entry when it comes to distributor partnerships. So you don't have to pay anything up front. There's no requirements, there's no quota, there's no nothing. Now, when it comes to like having a business, there are going to be some requirements when it comes to having a formalized business, whether it's a LLC or C corp, but there's ways around that, and I'm going to go into some of those ways in the later slides. But just know that there's very little barriers to entry when you work with a distributor. Some of the common distributors that are around, especially based out of where I'm at in the USA, are these companies here. So there's Sandler Partners, there's Avant, Intelisys, ScanSource, Teleris, Innovative Business, AppDirect. I have some documents information that I can provide that will provide a lot more detail. So if you want like more information on like some of these organizations that you can actually sign up with, I'll be happy to share that if you just reach out to me after the presentation. And if you do see a barcode that pops up on the presentation, that's a barcode that should lead to like my LinkedIn or contact information. So feel free to scan that, and I'll give you a lot more information about the various distributors that are out there. But I do want to talk about how to do this internationally, because we're talking about international partnerships. So the major fun fact that I want everyone to remember is that anyone from any country can own a business in the USA, as long as it's an LLC or a C corp. And there are companies and organizations that can actually help you facilitate those. Like for example, locally in Nigeria, there's a company called Go Nomad HQ, which is a startup that helps people own LLCs and C corps in the United States and the UK. There's usually a yearly fee. It can range anywhere from 500 US per year, or maybe 1,000 US per year, depending on what the type of organization that you form. There's other like large global companies like Deal that also does this too, and there's plenty of others. You can kind of watch plenty of YouTube videos on this of how to own a company that's based in the USA. But think of it's kind of like a shell company. Like you don't have to actually physically be here. You're just basically managing an entity that is branded to be a USA company. But this is like your gateway to basically forming all the different types of partnerships with various global tech companies, because a lot of these various global tech companies, these trillion-dollar companies, are based out here. So this is the way to get those particular partnerships. But I want to stress that like once you have an entity, and you could form an entity with your friends, you can get 20 people together and you could all pitch in and like have a shell company that's based in the US. Like it's definitely possible to do. I know many people that do this. But once you have that, all these distributors that I mentioned, you can actually go and form partnerships with them and immediately enroll yourself into these different programs where you can start referring products and services. And there's usually no cost to enroll yourself into those programs, as long as you have a US-based business. So going into now, when we're talking about the international opportunities, the reason why this is so important is because we're talking about getting a percentage of spend of technology. So a business is spending X amount of thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of technology. Imagine getting a percentage of that every single month from making 1 or 2 sales. You just wake up and the top of the month, you get a commission check because that company that you referred is still paying their bill, and you're just getting money coming in all the time. From an international perspective, I always ask people, like, imagine if you just got 0.001% of the $2 trillion technology spend that is here in the USA. Imagine if you were able to get that remotely from anywhere, from any country. That alone is $200,000 of passive income. $200,000 USD of passive income that would come to you, you were talking annually, like from not doing anything other than just you made a few referrals and you're reaping the rewards from them long term. So it's a crazy opportunity that anyone globally has access to, as long as you can facilitate a referral of technology services to a large company, and then you're living off of those residual income basis. So this is kind of like the mindset that I want everyone to kind of think about, because when we're talking about, you know, referring US technology to US based business, like, and you're making money off that, now your local currency market dependence kind of goes away. So as we know, you know, that there are currency challenges that are happening. There's current currency challenges that are happening with the naira. There's currency challenges that are happening with various other, you know, global currencies. You know, this kind of neutralizes that, because whatever happens with the USA and inflation is on the rise over here, and things are getting more expensive over here. As companies pay more money, you're just getting a percentage of that. You're almost getting like a reverse tax that is coming to you because you made the referral. So this is the way to think, because this is a way to neutralize currency issues from wherever you are. So I want to talk specifically now about compensation and what these deals actually look like in real world percentages and real world examples. So when you refer technology to a business, on average, most technology companies out there pay anywhere from 10 to 20% of the monthly recurring rate, also known as the MRR. So that means that if a business pays $1,000 a month and whichever technology, whether it's cloud services, but you did that referral, then you could expect 10 to 20% of that every single month coming to you. So going into one time, some technology companies don't pay referral, they pay one time. So that just basically means that whatever that monthly bill is that they signed up on a $1,000 package again, and then maybe it was a 3-year contract, you're taking the $1,000 times the contract length, and you're getting $3,000 just for making that one-time referral. And then the other options that are out there are hybrid commissions. Hybrid commissions is another form of payment where you're getting a mixture of residual on a percentage every month, but you're also getting some type of one-time bonus, or it's called a spiff, which is another word for a one-time payout. So it's kind of a mixture of both, and some companies pay that as well. So going deeper into these examples, I want you to really see like how these examples work in a real world scenario and what actually people are doing. So let's just say that you were on LinkedIn, you made some friends with some people, or maybe you had a connection with someone, and you know the person that you connected to happened to do IT. They were like a VP of IT or director of IT for a chain of restaurants that were actually located internationally. Maybe they're located out here in the US, maybe they're located in Canada, etc. And let's say they had 10 individual restaurants. And in those 10 restaurants, you referred over an internet provider to them, you referred to them a cloud provider, and maybe you referred to them a phone provider for their phone lines. So let's say for all 10 of those locations, they bought $2,000 worth of services, you know, in monthly services. So their internet bill per location was $1,000 a month because they wanted to get fiber internet with managed Wi-Fi and guest Wi-Fi for the people to use the Wi-Fi. And they want to get some cybersecurity and some firewalls to protect the internet there. So that's $500 a month. They spend $100 a month on their phone line per location, and then $400 a month on cloud services per location. So doing all the math, 10 locations at $2,000 a month, we're at $20,000 a month. So let's say in 1 month, you did that referral. So you referred it to the one IT person that you have, your one friend contact that is the decision maker at that company, like an IT director, VP of IT, CTO, etc. And then that person said, yes, I'm going to sign up with these, and they go down the path and they go and sign up. So of that $20,000 a month bill that company is now paying every month, you're getting a percentage of that, 10 to 20% every single month. Every time it's the first of the month, you wake up on the first of the month, you're getting a check of 10 to 20% of that. So that's anywhere from $2,000 a month to $4,000 every single month that you're getting just off of that one referral to that one key contact at a chain of restaurants, you know, located internationally. And If their bill goes up, if let's say their bill changes because inflation's happening and it goes up to anywhere from, you know, $25,000 a month, or it goes up to $30,000 a month, you're still getting your percentage, and your percentage is your total amount is increasing. You know, it's going from 2,000 to 3,000 or et cetera. So now let's say you were able to do that consistently. Like you had some contacts that were decision makers at various different restaurants, retail stores, or et cetera. And every single month you did the same thing. You referred to another business, they bought $20,000 worth of service, you did it again, you did it again, you did it again, you did it again. All of those residual payments just add up, and they stack up and they stack up and they stack up over and over and over and over and over, to the point where you can have $20,000 a month coming in passive income every month just from referrals that you made last year. You could have $40,000 a month, and it just kind of continues and continues and continues and continues. So this is real world. Like this is like how, you know, actual, you know, channel partners actually operate, technology advisors, you know, IT companies, MSPs, like whichever acronym in this world that we want to use, like this is how a lot of them are getting compensated. And for some folks, these are small numbers. There's many folks that are getting a lot more than that, and they have enough to pay for full-on staff members to manage the actual business for them. So I want to go into one-time examples, because there are some companies that don't pay residuals, some pay one-time. So if anyone's familiar with any type of like web development partnerships, like these are companies that typically pay one-time. This is a one-time service. But there are some like telecommunications providers that also pay one-time too. Like there are certain internet providers that are out there that just provide just a one-time commission of, hey, it's whatever the monthly rate of the services that we buy times the years of the contract. But there's also like global phone companies. So if you think about call centers, there's call centers everywhere. There's BPOs, you know, international call centers, and there might be many of you on this call that might have a lot more relationships with those than someone like me, because in where I am, I don't have a lot of call centers in my physical location. So in your area, you might potentially know people that run call centers and that need phone lines. And it's not just the phone lines, it's the software that powers it. So the actual software that connects to their Salesforce, that connects to their CRM, which is called the CX software. So Five9 provides that, Zoom provides that, there's 8x8, there's RingCentral, there's a lot of these global companies that sell across all continents. If you have some of those relationships and you made referrals, many of these companies pay upfront and they pay one time. So going back to that example, selling $20,000 worth of monthly service, you can get a one-time check of $20,000, $30,000, $50,000, sometimes $100,000. If you were to do that every single month, within a short span of time, that can just stack up and stack up and stack up to the point where there are people making over $1 million in USD, you know, just from doing these referrals, because they know the people that make decisions on technology at companies. It doesn't have to be companies here in the US, it could be companies globally. So this is kind of like the whole opportunity that exists. It's super impactful, it's life-changing, it's community-changing, because just one person in your community doing this can change your entire community. So I want to talk about what products can be sold. We have, of course, internet phone, like we talked about. There's TV services as well. In certain areas, TV might be more popular than others. Like, for example, where I'm at here in the USA, there's a lot of dental offices that are starting to put TVs on the ceiling, so that when people lean their head back and they're getting their dental work done, they could actually watch cartoons and TV shows. So but there's also security cameras. A lot of companies need security cameras. That's a global need. You know, any country that you go to, there's security camera need, and that's something that you can refer to people. Cloud and data center solutions, also global. Cybersecurity, fintech technology that I know that many people here are familiar with. And then when we're talking about software, hardware as well, like computers and physical printers, scanners, you know, all of those are all products that you can refer out and make this type of money from referring. So how large is this industry? It's a $2 trillion industry. It's huge because it's global. It's not just US based, it's global. Everyone buys technology all over. And then when we talk about why would someone want to be a technology agent and go down this path? So there's a lot of people that started off in the corporate world, and they did that journey, and they had their boss and their manager and their manager's manager, their director, their VP, and they were told that follow the dream, you can move up, and all of that, which some people are able to do, and then for some people it can be very, very challenging, especially at large companies. So some people just want the freedom of just, I want to have my own business, I want to make my own rules, I want to be able to go wherever I want, sell to who I want, work with who I want, and I want to be able to work from anywhere. I want to be able to work remotely, and then I want to be able to really kind of like craft what my lifestyle will look like, and set up my relationships in a way where I can get very, very large commissions or residual income. So this is why people go down this path. Globally, just as an example, there are 400,000 independent agents globally. So just as a fun fact, that there's a lot of people around the world that are actually doing this and living very, very interesting lifestyles from just referring technology out. So I want to get into now who can be a technology agent, because we kind of talked about it earlier, right? So there really are no barriers to entry. There's anyone can be a technology agent. And get into these partnerships. There's no experience that you need. You don't have to do a certification. You don't have to do a degree. It's nothing. Now, in terms of like doing it on the U.S. side and getting those U.S. partnerships, there is like a U.S. entity that you would have to get. So, a small investment for it, I was split across like various people and friends or whichever. If you can do a U.S. based LLC or whichever, like that helps you get the U.S. partnerships. But there are partnerships that don't require that at all. I mean, there's local partnerships. There's companies in your own area that offer great partnership programs that you can jump into as well. But there is no barrier to entry. With the right maneuvering, you can get a partnership with almost any company you can think of. So I want to talk about like how to do this from a international perspective, and how people can really form some of these deals. Let's say you do go down the path and you're like, hey, I am a partner of now the various telecom companies globally. I can now offer Telstra internet in Australia. I can offer Rogers internet in Canada. I can offer 8x8 phone services and Zoom video communications, and I can offer Microsoft Cloud to anyone globally. So what I want you to think about is the international prospecting aspect of this, because you all have the power of LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a very, very, very powerful tool that you have to kind of maneuver it, but by putting in different words and all of that and typing in certain cities, you can find people from just about anywhere, and you can basically form some mutual beneficial relationships. Because let's just take the US, for example. There's a lot of people here in the US that want to actually have friends and partnerships in Nigeria. It's a very popular, growing thing, and then we have a interesting political climate right now. We just had an election, and there's a lot of people that are unhappy with the way they perceive the world, that they perceive America is going from a race relations perspective, and they're actually looking to find friends and partners and people in various countries that they can now collaborate with. So there are some ways that you could potentially have a mutual beneficial relationship where you can help somebody over there, and then from there they might be able to make an introduction to someone that is a decision maker of technology services somewhere in the USA, in exchange for helping them out when they want to come and visit the town. Just giving them advice of where to go, what to do, et cetera, et cetera. Like there's some very mutual beneficial relationships that you can form. Because I do want to like be real with everyone. Like when it comes to a lot of the channel partnerships world, there is this whole concept of it's a word that isn't used that much, but the concept of the word cronyism. And what I mean by that is cronyism is basically defined as essentially giving business opportunities and just relationships to your friends or people that you like or people that you enjoy working with. It's always seen in like a negative light. It's considered a negative word, but there are ways that you can leverage that to your benefit if you basically form relationships with the right people that are connected and that are connected to the people that you want to get connected with, but in return helping them out too, because there's probably aspirations and things that they want to do. So it's figuring out what that balance is, so that you both can benefit, help each other, support each other, grow your communities together, but kind of create these really cool international bonds and international crews where you can help each other, where you might have someone in there from London, someone from Canada, someone from Australia, someone from New York or Washington, D.C. or L.A., like all inside of like your network, and you're just sharing things with each other. Because some of you might do international business right now, and there might be people that you're talking to, decision makers of technology, that I need to talk to. So I would love to work with some of you and figure out, hey, are you talking to people that are decision makers at these companies? I would love to cut you into a deal. So there are things like that you can leverage for your own benefit, because it's a lot easier to operate with warm referrals. I mean, that's how trust is. Trust is built quicker with warm referrals than cold outreach. So any way that you get a warm referral in this industry is a lot easier when you're going to be internationally prospecting. But also, if all else fails, leverage your technology, know your technology for cold outreach. We're in the era of AI. There's a lot of stuff you could do with AI to really advance like your cold outreach. There's AI video outreach through tools like SendSpark. There's all different AI cadence tools. So that whole world of technology is going to evolve very quickly this year, next year, to the point where you could have AI agents making the phone calls and text messages and all that for you. So there's also that aspect too, but it is possible, and there's a lot of people that do this really, really well. So definitely just keep that in mind as you're thinking about your prospecting journey. Now, why would a company want to purchase something from you, an independent person? Why would they want to take a referral from you when they could just go directly to the companies themselves? So this is a question that is often asked, but there is a answer, and it's a very, very good answer when you really think about it on a large global scale. So think about a company that is basically everywhere. So let's talk about McDonald's. McDonald's somehow found a way to get themselves into almost every single country. It's a US-based company that does burgers and fries, but they have locations everywhere. Or a company like Coca-Cola, for example. So think about like if you are managing the stores for a franchise of McDonald's. Let's say in that particular franchise, there's 1,000 stores. Imagine like in the different locations, how many internet providers that you have to be in contact with, and how many different phone providers, because internet providers are different depending on the location that you go, or like from a phone perspective, it's different depending on the actual phone provider. So think about it's different for the phone providers depending on the location that you're in. So think about now when you are trying to be, let's say, the IT director, the procurement manager, procurement director at a company like this, and you're trying to manage all these different relationships, and McDonald's is like, hey, we want to set up 2 locations in New York, we want to set up one in London, we want to set up one in Romania, we want to set up one in Turkey, we need to set up one in South Africa, we need to set up one in Ghana. Like, how do we just go and get the internet providers and get them all signed up, and we need to get this internet and all of that. It's very, very difficult for that one person that works at that company to go and call the different internet providers, go and negotiate pricing back and forth, figure out if this is the right company to go with, or is that the right company to go with. It's very, very easy, or it's a lot easier for them to just go to one particular partner, one referral partner that can basically say, hey, you are going to work through me, and I can basically let you know who all the providers are that are in your locations, what the different prices are, what the different rates are, and I can basically help you with making the recommendations for the 5 or 10 or 15 stores that you need to set up. And with doing that, when you're working independently, it's unbiased. You're not trying to like sell them or whichever, because whichever company that they choose, you're still getting paid either way. You are basically like a one-stop shop for them. And then there's other things that you can actually help them with, because you're getting paid from the actual technology companies. McDonald's isn't paying you, like you are just kind of helping them for free. So you could help them manage their order. You can help them. You could also provide your own services if you want. There's some people that are like, hey, I do also implementation. So if you have an implementation business already, you can actually like put that in with it too. So all of that is basically, you know, an option of what you can do. But this is why these major companies, it's said that of the Fortune 500, especially here in the US, over 50% of them work through partners, because it's just a lot easier to just work with somebody independent that can bring technology to them. Now, when you're a partner, how do you actually get all the information? And you get all that information from when we go back to how to become a partner, it was signing up with a technology services distributor. Those technology services distributors have access to all those different partnerships. They provide additional resources for you, like sales engineers. They provide you with sales specialists, pricing specialists, and all these people that can help you out when you're dealing with these large companies. So you're never alone. You know, all you have to do is just get the relationship, and you're going to have an entire indirect team of various different folks through your distributor and through these companies that can help you with closing these deals. So I want to now talk about this final part, which is, all right, you know, Ty, like, what if I don't want to be independent? I like the security of just having a set salary and, you know, just getting my commissions, but I do like this partner world. Like, it really sounds cool. It sounds interesting. I like the fact of like kind of working with these independent people that are kind of just like doing their own thing. Like, how do I get close to this industry but not fully become a partner but still get paid as a normal employee? So there are some really cool corporate roles that are available globally. They might have different names globally depending on where you are, but you know, I do want to stress that there is something called a partner sales executive, and what a partner sales executive is, it's basically the same thing as an account executive. So just like account executive, a sales executive, except that it's a sales executive that actually closes deals with partners. So it's when the partner brings an opportunity and says, hey, I have the CTO and they want to find out about this cybersecurity services that your company offers. You're now partnering with that partner sales executive, and together you are both closing those services with, you know, in combination with yourself and that partner sales executive. Now, you as a partner sales executive, you're just a salaried employee and you're getting commissions, but you get to work with partners, and partners can be really cool. I mean, they're interesting people in terms of, you know, how they operate. Now, the other thing is partner sales engineer is another role where you're a sales engineer. You're helping to basically work out the technical aspects of the sale, but you're doing it specifically for partners. When partners come with their customers, you're jumping in with the partner sales executive and you're helping to navigate that sale from a technical aspect. The other roles that exist, which is one of my favorites, and I think like if you like this whole world, but you don't want to like go down the path of being independent and you just want to like have a taste for this, a channel manager role or a channel partnerships role or a partnerships manager role, these roles are actually some of the best roles that you can get, because they're kind of like the best of both worlds. You know, they are salaried roles. There's usually commissions there, but you get to like really work with solely like independent partners and resellers, and you kind of go down these paths where you're talking to people sometimes from all around the world, and you're really inspiring them to become resellers of the products and services that you offer. And it's a really cool role depending on the company that you're with, because as you do this with like larger and larger companies, there's some really cool perks. Like a sidebar, you know, like my wife has this role. She has this role for Zoom. So in our region here, like, you know, like I mentioned earlier, like I'm in Las Vegas. We have a few states that are nearby, like California and Arizona, and we have Seattle, Washington, that aren't that far away. So part of her job is, as a channel manager, she gets to now go to these, host these different events and invite partners and their customers, and really kind of help these partners facilitate their deals with the budget from her corporate company to kind of travel and facilitate deals. But these roles don't just exist here in America, they exist almost everywhere. Almost every single cable company offers these roles. Airtel has channel management roles. MTN has channel management roles. There's channel management roles that exist at even like InterSwitch. There's all different organizations that have channel management roles. Now they're all different depending on the company, but they are very, very fun roles that are good to kind of keep in mind if you're looking down this path. The other one is a partner enablement manager. Only some companies have this, but basically what this is it's almost like sales enablement where you're facilitating trainings, but you're training the partners on selling your services. So these roles are kind of rare, but if you can find one, they're usually awesome because they're remote. They don't require any travel, and you're really just doing training sessions on for partners to teach partners how to sell your services. So the last couple ones I want to mention, and this is like if you're coming in, you're like, hey, well, I don't really have I don't think like the sales experience or anything like that, but I do like this channel world, but I do want to come into like this on a corporate side, but I just want to like kind of get my feet wet and do some things behind the scenes. And I just want to like ease my way into this world. There are some roles that you can get that are completely entry level. Like you should be able to get them either straight out of high school, straight out of college, where you're really just kind of doing back end work for like the actual channel managers of the partnerships team. So these could be like quoting specialists where you're kind of like basically gathering the quotes or gathering the actual contract. Might be a contract specialist, or it might be an order specialist where you're helping out the project manager and helping them navigate some of these orders. So these are very, very entry level roles, but they give you kind of the viewpoint and sometimes the interaction with partners so you can kind of see this world a little bit. So final thing that I want to mention, as you know, I'm here in the U.S. and we have some things going on politically and all of that. But I do want to like just preface a little more of like what's happening here and why I want to involve this conversation into more of an international based conversation because we are having some diversity issues in channel sales. We always have. So just fun fact, there's 68,524 partners here in the USA that resell Microsoft and other types of like cloud services from various different companies, but only 324 of them are African American, which is less than 1%. So when you really think about that percentage, there's very, very little, and I'm here in the US and there's 15% African American people here in the US. Only 1% of the entire channel industry looks like me. So the challenge comes is that when there's not that much of us in this industry, we need to kind of find ways to level the playing field and find partnerships and opportunities that exist sometimes outside of our scope. And I think that's where international collaborations can come in because you might be in a situation where you might know someone that runs a very large company in your particular location or region, or you might be doing international business and you might be working with someone from another country who is a decision maker there. There might be something that we can collaborate on that maybe we can refer them and we can both get paid that residual income. So this is where there's a lot of opportunities. A lot of folks like myself are looking into this. We want to do partnerships. We want to have these conversations because ultimately, our main thing that we're trying to do is really one thing, is we just want to collaborate in some way, shape, or form with anyone throughout this entire diaspora, because ultimately we're trying to just diversify channel sales globally. So that is my presentation on this entire wild industry of channel sales. And I will jump into now the question part.
Thank you so much, Ty. This has been very detailed. Throughout your section, my man ran through companies that I see that are, SAP, more like SAP franchise, the ERP company. We have a lot of them here in Nigeria that are very much partnered with, SAP. It took me a while to realize that they're actually not, an original SAP company, but then they are sort of a partner. We have a number of them. Before Zoho came to Nigeria, we have a number of companies that are partnered with Zoho, right? These are the solutions, web solutions, and also help our clients here in Nigeria that have issues, right, with the software. And then beyond, SAP, beyond Zoho, there's a number of companies like that do this. But you even have a number of companies, partner with AWS, partner with other cloud companies, and they are tech companies of their own. Right? My mind ran through all of those companies. I'm like, oh, so this is what you guys are doing. So this is what you guys are doing. And it's really interesting that it's now really picking up in the tech space, because usually you would have the FMCG guys do this more. I love that you mentioned McDonald's. You have Cold Stone. Cold Stone here in Nigeria is not really, they're franchises, right? and a number of food companies like that. So it's been really common and important in the FMCG space. But now it's sort of like new in the tech space on this side. And I think the telco space as well, yeah, in Nigeria, they've actually locked this down to same way call center companies. They as well, they do it really well here. But when it comes to like core tech is quite new in this area. And well, I'm sure like in the next few years, it's going to pick up as much, but as we currently have it in the other sectors. But then we're going to get into questions now. If you have questions, please raise your hand. But then also the registration form has a number of questions in them, and I'm going to run through them while people on the call also ask their questions.
Oh, cool.
So
Yeah.
the very okay, the very first question that we have here is from Reagan Bell. I don't know if he or she's on the call.
Oh, yeah.
The question is, what systems should your company have in place prior to pitching partnerships?
Yeah, so basically, I mean, you can look at it from two sides of it. So if you have a company and you're trying to get into a partnership agreement, so I'll talk about that side of it first, because some of you have companies and some of you may work for companies that want to set up partnership agreements. So the first thing is you want to make sure that you can figure out a percentage that you're okay with giving away if you got a sale. So however your margins are, if let's say you have enough margin, let's say you make 40% margins on whichever products or services that you sell, then that gives enough to maybe give away 15% or 10% to an actual partner that refers. If your margins aren't there, then you may want to like alter your pricing model so that you have enough margins to pay a channel partner. But that's the first thing, is what is the percentage? Second thing is having an actual legal document that basically outlines what that channel agreement is going to look like, how that partner actually gets paid, what qualifies for payment, what doesn't qualify for payment, how that payment's going to actually be given out. And then there are types of software that exist called like a partner. It's almost like a CRM, but they call it a PRM. So it's a partner. It's like a partner management system that basically allows you to manage your partnerships. So you can see all your various partners. You can see all of the referrals that they brought to you, and then you can kind of see how much money that you're paying out to them. So that's kind of software that exists. But that is kind of like how it works from if you're a business and you want to form a channel partnership, and you also want to go to market strategy to get partners as well, which would involve various cases of figuring out where do you want your partners to be, and then also what are you going to provide them to help them sell? Are you going to provide them with marketing materials? Are you going to provide them with a hat to so they can wear it at events? Are you going to provide them with like a deck, like a PowerPoint deck that they can use to present to customers? So all of these things are kind of like the partner enablement items that you can use for your partners. Now, on the other side, if you are trying to be a partner yourself, the things that you'll need from a tools perspective is one, kind of like when you're in sales, it's beneficial to have a CRM. You don't necessarily have to have one, but depending on the types of deals that you're doing, like having a CRM, whether it's Pipedrive or one of the other CRM systems, they're very, very common in the channel partnerships world. You also want to make sure that you have access to communities. A lot of these deals get done through business communities, business networking groups. So if there's business networking groups all over in various different areas, some are in person and some are actually virtual, they could have access to too. So getting in some of those are great. Conferences, like having plugs in different conferences where you can just get into these events and do your networking there. There's all different things that you want to do, but you want to have a strategic plan of basically getting to your customers, but ideally having a good referral network, just people everywhere, all around the world that can kind of keep their eyes open of when they encounter a decision maker, and then just kind of send a warm intro your way, so then you could find ways to cut that person into that deal. And then figuring out the percentage of what percentage you want to cut people into your deals too.
Nice, interesting. I'm hearing of a PRM system for the first time. I didn't know that existed. And then it's really interesting to see how many large corporations are actually tapping into this. I kind of like tried it personally for my company on an experimental base, and it really wasn't bad. But it's areas that we didn't have legs, we didn't have boots on ground in, countries we didn't have boots on ground in. It really helped, and then like came through. And yeah, so Rene has a question that she wants to ask.
Hi, Ty. I was actually trying to join. So
Hey.
sorry. I wanted to join from my laptop so you could see my face. Hey, good to see you again.
You too.
I wanted to ask specifically, so I'm obviously transitioning into tech sales. I'm a part of Rework's training right now, and I am specifically still interested in channel. Honestly, by attending your talk at Afrotech, I kind of honed in on channel. Do you think that there is a direct pipeline for entry tech sales, or a person that's entering into tech sales to go directly into channel, or should they develop their skills first in a different role?
Yeah, so it's so I think there's multiple answers to that. So I think one, if you're going independent, then the fastest way to be successful independent is having like a network of decision makers, and that is not as easy as it seems, because decision makers, we're talking about people that are like directors, VPs, and C-suite people, and some of these people literally don't go outside. I mean, like some of them don't go to networking events. They don't have LinkedIn presences sometimes, and they're very, very hard to actually find and hard to reach. So, but there are some unique ways to get access to them through networking strategically, or also just like going to certain areas, because there are, if we look at like just from a I guess an urban sociology perspective, when we're looking at like where people live, there's going to be certain areas in town that are going to have more C-suite people living, and if you do some networking in those areas, in those grocery stores, in those happy hours, in those bars, and those mixers, you might have a better chance of finding some of those folks. But that is like the key to really getting into this, because whether you know the technology or not, if you know someone that owns like 10 pizza stores and they're opening up 10 more, then you already know they're going to need some type of internet. They're going to need some type of like Wi-Fi device or security camera or firewall, or they're going to need some type of payment system. So just having that relationship alone allows you to go to your distributor that you're signed up with and say, hey, I have this contact. He's opened up 10 more pizza shops. Can you help me jump on this call? And you could literally grab their engineer, and their engineer can jump on that call and essentially ask the questions needed and figure out all the different solutions that they need. And then from there, we just bridge the connections. It sounds like you need to talk to Cisco, so let's bring Cisco in. It sounds like you need to talk to, Comcast, let's bring them in, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, so there's that aspect. If you want to go independent, it's all going to be based on like how many directors and above that in your network that you're super close with. Second, if you're going at it from a employment aspect, there's a lot of different ways to do it. Now, financially, you might have to start off at a more entry level part than normal when it comes to this, because like there's not a lot of like levels. It's like you have like specialists and order specialists and all of that exists in the channel partnerships world, and then it immediately jumps into like partner sales executive and channel manager. Like it's like a big jump into those roles. But working for channel based companies and working on the partner side gives you that visibility and that understanding of who all the partners are, like who actual people that they do business with, and then you become like very, very versed in this world, which after doing like your year or two, kind of doing like a specialist or an associate role in some type of channel based company, and even you could do this on a larger scale, like they have like roles in companies like CDW or SHI or Worldwide Technology that have like these kind of like associate, very entry level roles. But while you're in there, you have access to everything, the databases, the trainings, and all of that, and the full network. You can basically learn a ton about this industry and then make a big leap into the channel management role. That's literally the path that my wife did, where she some entry level roles in business sales and then kind of migrated over into channel management because she was still doing a lot of networking on the channel side. That's literally the path that I took too as well, where I kind of did some jumping on the outside when doing more outside sales and outside sales management, but I was learning channel management on my own, and then I jumped into a channel management role.
Thank you for that advice. I'll definitely take that. I will probably be following up with you. I met someone at Afrotech, and we're both kind of interested in doing the independent route. And so I'll definitely be putting some time on your calendar, because that's where we are exploring what industries we want to go in, what tech we want to represent. And so, yes, I appreciate all of your expertise. It's very helpful.
Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, save my info on there, and my
Yes,
calendar too. So yeah, absolutely. Look forward to talking to you.
Same. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, no
All
problem.
right. So the next question that we have is on script. So will you be sharing scripts for outreach?
Yeah, so in terms of scripting, it's kind of difficult, only because like a lot of these channel agreements and all of that, it's not it's not as cut and dry as it seems, because like, you know, in the sales world, there's things you could do from an outbound cadence, where if you let's just say, so I'll give you a hypothetical example. So let's say you work for MTN, and MTN is fairly well known. So if you are outreaching to somebody and you outreach with one of their scripting that they're using, they're not seeing you as an independent person, as an independent company. They're seeing basically you as MTN, as this very, very large, you know, telecom company that's outreaching to them. Or let's say you're coming from like Microsoft, you know, and you reach out to someone, they're seeing, oh, Microsoft is contacting me. But when you're independent, when you're coming to them as like, Sarah's telecom services or Olu's consulting services, it's going to be very, very, very difficult to have that brand recognition. So a lot of times, like, cold outreach is very, very difficult. It doesn't always work, and the warm outreach is usually where it's at, where getting that warm referral is usually the best route. If you do cold outreach, I would definitely say to leverage some of the AI tools and do it on a very, very mass scale, because the percentage of getting people into conversation and all of that, it can be very, very challenging. But also, like, you know, leverage anything that you hear that is modern, in terms of like, you know, these gurus that are, you know, that have mastered outbound and all of that. For me personally, and like how I operate my business, it's largely like warm outreach, because I just like a higher percentage of when I reach out to someone, there's 50-50 chance that they're going to talk to me, because someone already tapped them on the shoulder and said, hey, you know, you should talk to Ty. So that's kind of my perspective on it. But in the whole grand scheme, you can outreach in any way possible, any way you can win. It's just some routes are harder than others. They all have their pros and cons.
Yeah, thank you. So the next question would be, as a salesperson who sees opportunities that my company can explore, what's the best way to introduce it to my company? And let's bear in mind that this is something that is probably new to the company he or she should introduce it to. So what's the best route for this person to go?
Yeah, definitely. So I would first look at the so we call it, I guess in the startup world we call it like total addressable market, which is basically, you know, what is all the customers that you could possibly sell, like this. So they call it a TAM, total addressable market. You know, what is the amount of business that you can get if you were to hit every single company? And then you look at it from like, what are you actually getting? Like, what of that percent that you're actually getting, you know, in terms of like your actual revenue and your sales and all of that. So I would look at that, and it's usually, you know, especially for smaller companies, it's going to be a very, very small percentage, you know, 0.1 or 0.001 or et cetera. And then you want to look at, you know, why aren't you able to get to the rest of those companies? Like why can't we just go to, for example, you know, you mentioned Costco. Why can't we just go to Costco, the owner of that franchise, and go and broker a deal? And typically the answer always stems to, well, because we don't have a relationship with whoever owns that franchise. So then it's now, is there somebody that does? Like, is there someone that's already doing business with them, that's already maybe selling them fintech technology, or maybe that they're already doing stuff with their website for that Costco franchise, or maybe they are doing some type of like wiring or electrical work or plumbing work for them. And then you want to look at all of those potential major companies that aren't connected to your company that should be. And then you want to basically position it as, what if we can have independent people that are out there that are already talking to these clients that none of us have been able to get a hold of or get a meeting with? What if we just employed all of the, well, not really employ, what if we compensated all of those people to help us make those connections, and then we just gave them a piece of that deal? And the easiest way to position is really just position it as a referral program. And you could basically say like, hey, like, whatever you would pay me for closing that deal, let's just split that amount with that person that would make that introduction. And even though, like, yes, you're getting half of what you would get for getting it by yourself, but you're going to get tons of major companies that you wouldn't have normally got coming your way. So that is really the way to think about it. It's like getting all of that data, figuring out, hey, what percent of the market are you actually capturing? And then if we had the relationships, what percentage could we capture? And then these are the types of people that are already doing business with the companies that we can't capture. I would like to basically volunteer my commissions and say, hey, I would like to officially like just give this person half of what I make if they can basically bring the connection in to us because they work with these people. And that's really how I would frame it up. And most companies, depending on how experimental that they are, would actually agree to that on a trial basis. And that's really kind of like how it starts from a channel perspective. And then if it becomes successful, like, you and your role could actually evolve into like a channel manager role instead of just a sales role, or it evolves into more of like a global head of channels or things like that. But that's really how it starts.
All right, thank you very much. So the last question, I don't really understand this question. Henry Osaze, are you on the call, please? So you can ask your question directly. Let me check. Oh, no, it's not. So I think that's it with the questions on this sheet. Anybody else has questions from the audience? Okay, cool. So I'm gonna drop Ty's LinkedIn right now. So if you want to connect with him, he's also in the community, so you can always chat him up on Slack. This is Ty, and then he has his email address already on the screen. Thank you so much, Ty. This has
Thank
been
you.
a very interesting evening, and a very different topic from what we typically do here at TSP. And so thank you for making time out for this, despite the time difference. And thank you everybody who joined in. Look forward to having you again next month. And if you want to join TSP, the link is in the chat box. I would usually put this recording on YouTube and also in the community for everyone to catch up. And for community members who are still at work or are just trying to get home. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a lovely evening and have a lovely morning if you're joining from outside of the 234 code. Bye, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Have a great day, everyone.
Would this be available? I'm so sorry, I should have asked this earlier. But if this recording will be available, where can we find it?
On YouTube.
So we have a Slack community where we would
Perfect.
usually drop it first. The
Okay.
link is in the chat box, and also we have the YouTube channel where we would usually post our past classes, so you can check it out from there. But when it's gonna be out, I really don't know. But then it's gonna be out in a few weeks, and you can also join the community just so that when it's out, it's usually announced in the learning channel, so you can get the prompts to watch it on YouTube. So, but then it's gonna be out on YouTube.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks.
you, Rennes. Thank you so much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day, and see you next month on our next session.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Mercy. Cool. Yeah, that was fun. Appreciate you having me.